All right, guys, so the domestic season is officially over in South African football. We were crowning a couple of champions over the weekend to cap off an incredible season, and these two guys have been at the forefront of it. So, with the coach Cardoso, he didn't have the best of starts to the season, right? A lot of questions were asked about his domestic performance. He lost out to Orlando Pirates in the MTN 8, and he was dropping a couple of points in the league. The fans were losing patience with the style of play that he was trying to incorporate. And all those things ultimately put his job at risk. But you would assume that they remain patient with him because the ultimate prize, the reason why they brought him in the club, was to win the CAF Champions League. I mean, you wouldn't fire a guy who took you to the CAF Champions League final in his first full season. So Sundowns knew that they had their best shot of winning this competition with Miguel Cardoso, so they had to be patient with him. Second half of the season, he began to steady his ship, right? Got in a couple of signings. Abo Brian Leon, he hit the ground running. Abo Nuno Santos, he began to come alive, right? Jaden Adams, things started to click, and eventually he achieved the ultimate prize. He won them their second star. He won them a CAF Champions League. Coach Ouaddou as well. It isn't until recently that we found out that he actually handed in his resignation letter after losing those first two games in the league. Such was the pressure on him when he started with the Orlando Pirates, right? But the staff and the management at the Orlando Pirates reassured him that you are the man for us. We will entrust you. We will support you for the rest of the season. We've given you a group of players. We've signed a couple of quality players that we think if you incorporate to the squad, you have a good chance of winning the league. And we trust you with that responsibility. And that's exactly what he did. It wasn't easy. Pirates is a big club. There's a lot of expectations, a lot of noise coming from the outside as well. That even if you are the most stoic man, you just can't ignore the noise, right? Somehow they'll get into you. And that's how Coach Ouaddou had to fight through for the entire season. He had a couple of hurdles as well, was knocked out by St. Lupopo in the CAF Champions League, was knocked out by Kazrick in the Nedbank Cup, but he did win the MTN 8. He did win the Carling Black Label Cup. And ultimately, it came down to the game at FNB Stadium. Sundowns are playing against the Orlando Pirates in the return fixture. Many felt that if he loses that game, he's lost the league. And indeed, the Pirates lose that game and the Sundowns continue on their rapid form. But we kept believing, we kept on going, we dusted ourselves off and we got back up and carried on. Such is the elements that Coach Ouaddou brought into this team here, Orlando Pirates. We were relentless this season. And all that hard work ultimately yielded us the league title, right? So you could argue that to Coach Ouaddou, he achieved what he was set out to achieve. The mandate at the beginning of the season was to win the league. And that's exactly what he did. So here's my question. Now that these two guys have achieved all that they were set out to achieve, Coach Abdeslam Ouaddou has won the Orlando Pirates the league title, which is what we brought him in for, right? Coach Miguel Cardoso has won the CAF Champions League for Mamelodi Sundowns, which is what he was brought in to do. Both these guys have achieved and accomplished their tasks. Do you think they still have the desire to continue? Because you can sense that they are kind of homesick. I heard Coach Abdeslam immediately after we won actually the league title. It was a pitch side interview and he was expressing just how tired he was, right? And I can imagine it's from the fatigue, from the pressure, because he expressed that he was going through under a lot of pressure this season. And he was just speaking like someone who just wanted to get the job done and leave. Remember, this guy wanted to resign after the first two games of the season. So it's not far off his radar to just retire as well. Same thing with Miguel Cardoso. He has been complaining nonstop ever since he got to South Africa, right? And he's built an incredible resume for himself. I said in the previous post that this is the type of resume they need in Europe. For you to get a job in Europe, this is exactly the resume you need to have. The one that Miguel Cardoso has. 3 Champions League finals consecutively, and he's won it in the end. So we might be witnessing an end of an era here. Both these guys might not be here next season. But anyways, man,